everyone, and welcome back to our series of Moodle tutorials. This tutorial is going to explain how to use the Games module. While we won't go through each game in depth, the important thing for you to know is these are easy to develop through the use of your quiz questions and your course glossary. If you haven't set those up in your Moodle course yet, please pause this tutorial and go back to work in your Moodle or view the previous tutorials. But to get to the Games module, let's turn editing on in our course. I'm going to scroll down to the block that I want the Games module to appear. I'm going to select Activity, and then scroll down to the Games. Now I'm not going to go through and set up each one of these games, and for my example, I'm just going to use the Hangman activity. So the first thing I want to do is I want to give my game a name. So for my example, I'm just going to call this Fitness Hangman. The cool thing about the games is you can pull from your glossary or questions from your quizzes. But keep in mind the games that use multiple choice will pull from your quiz questions, while the games that you set up using your glossary will most likely need the student to spell out the correct answer. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead and just pull from my glossary, but like I said, you can also pull from the quizzes. Now, I've set up a couple glossaries in this particular course, and I'm just going to select my Health and Wellness glossary. And then from the Health and Wellness glossary, here's where I can go through and select the particular category. I'm going to select Health and Fitness. But this is a good example of why the categories become so important when organizing your glossary and quiz entries. So in my example here, just to clarify, this Hangman activity is going to pull words from my Health and Wellness glossary, specifically from my Health and Fitness category. So scrolling on down, if you want to give this particular activity a grade, here's where you would set that up. You can enter the maximum grade that you would expect to give, and then of course you can determine how it is that the students will earn that on the first attempt, as an average grade, whatever. You can set this up so that this activity is available for only a certain amount of time. And then scrolling on down, we get into game-specific options. So you can determine the number of words per game. If this number is less than the words in your glossary, of course the words will be randomly pulled. Determine what you want to show as you're setting up your Hangman. The first and last letter, spaces will give you a space as an option to select while playing. Otherwise, the words will appear as blanks, but with a space automatically showing between the two words. And the symbol option, in case you're using words or phrases or whatever that have an ampersand or symbols like that. As we get on down, you can determine the number of errors that you want. Obviously, this is going to give your kids 6 guesses before the game comes to an end. And then showing the question and correct answer at the end. If you want to enter a header and footer, here's where you would do that. And then scrolling on down, you get down to group restrictions and then specific restrictions for when it is that your students will see this particular activity become available. So now I'm going to save and display this. And this is the view the students will see as well. So I'm going to click Attempt the Game Now, and now you can see that the students are presented with the Hangman structure. Here's my glossary term, and now I can start to enter my guesses. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to guess some letters that I know are going to appear. You get the idea. So this starts, students start to click the letters as their guesses, and then they can continue in that same manner. So I want to quickly review and give just a real quick preview of the other games. Crosswords takes words from either your glossary or quiz short answer questions and generates a random crossword puzzle. You can set the maximum number of rows or columns or words that it contains. Students have the option of pressing a check crossword button to check if the answers are correct. Every crossword puzzle is dynamic, so it is different to every student. Cryptics is like a crossword, but the answers are hidden inside a random cryptics puzzle. Millionaire is a game that takes words from multiple choice quiz questions and creates a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire style game complete with 3 lifelines. Sudoku shows a Sudoku puzzle to the students with not enough numbers revealed for it to be solved. For each question the student answers correctly, an additional number is revealed, making the Sudoku puzzle easier to solve. Snakes and Ladders moves students through a Snakes and Ladders board game, answering questions from either a glossary or short answer quiz questions. As they get an answer correct, they move ahead the number of spaces shown on the dice, which is automatically rolled. If a game piece is in the bottom of a ladder and the answer is correct, it moves to the top of the ladder. If a game piece is on the head of a snake and the answer is wrong, it moves down to the tail of the snake. Remember the option to upload a picture with your entries in the glossary? Well, the hidden picture is the game that randomly grabs an image from a glossary and hides it behind panels. As each question is answered correctly, a portion of the image is revealed. This concludes this tutorial. Take some time now to go back to your course and experiment with at least 3 of these different games. This is also the time you'll realize whether or not your glossary and quiz categories were set up correctly, so you might need to take a minute to go back and revisit those as well.